Hey dudes, are you looking for a simple way to speed up your workflow in DaVinci Resolve 17? Then this video is for you. Up until recently, I hadn't been using powerbins in Resolve. I was constantly jumping between projects and copying my recycled media between my project timelines. And it was only by chance when chatting with the Blackmagic team that they suggested that I should look into using powerbins in my workflow. That's how I came across powerbins and how to use them. They're super handy and they have massively changed how quick I can work in Resolve 17. So let's jump into our edit window and set up our powerbin, and then I will show you some of the pros and some of the cons and what you can and can't use powerbins for in Resolve 17. So in your edit window, if you can't see your powerbin, all you need to do is go up to view, go all the way down and go to show powerbins, click that and it will come on. Now you can see here that I've already pre-set up some because I've been using powerbins now for a little bit and I've learnt kind of what the power of a powerbin is. So what a powerbin is a folder structure that is not project dependent. So that means no matter what project you jump into, whatever is stored in here is going to actually appear in every project. So if you've got sting animations like this that I use at the start of all my Resolve tutorials, or you've got a sub button call out like this, or you've got some sort of overlay that you repetitively have to edit over and over again in a project, the best thing to do is to create that media as its own media like I have here with pre-mixed audio, and then bring it in and drop it into your powerbin. That is the smartest way to use powerbins. It's the fastest way to use powerbins. So now you can see that I've got my music, my sound effects, and my callouts in here, and my animations. If I just jump into any other random project, you'll see that I can just go into this project here, and I can grab any of my assets like I can grab my intro sting, I can drop my intro sting over the top of this, and there it is. It's pre-mixed and ready to go, and then it just cuts straight into my footage. Saves me a lot of time. It's like 15 edits and a bunch of sound mixing done in a heartbeat. Like, that's really what you want if you want to work fast. So, what media can you use in a powerbin? Now, this is a very important question to ask, because if I go over here to my powerbins, I'm just going to right click to create a new powerbin. I'm going to call this media because I want to add a powerbin. So adding powerbins is exactly the same as adding any normal bin in Resolve. You just right click and give it a name. You can see over here I've got a piece of media of myself. And if I just click and drag this over here and drop it in, it's going to say, ba-bow, you can't do that. And the reason why it's going to say that I can't do it is because Resolve, for some reason, is seeing it as a multicam clip, a compound clip, or a fusion clip, even though it is none of the above. What it is a edited clip. And I think this might be a bug in Resolve, because if I go into another timeline and I do exactly the same thing, I can show you how it will not allow me to do one, and it will allow me to do another, even though they're exactly the same types of edited media. So I'm just going to jump to the front of the timeline, and you can see here, this piece of media has definitely been edited, and so has this. And if I go into my media here and I go to drop this piece of media in there, it's going to come up with exactly the same thing, saying you can't do that. But if I grab this piece of media here, it will allow me to do it. Both pieces of media are edited, both of them are graded, both of them are sound mixed, but for some reason, Resolve is having a bit of a glitch with the powerbins and allowing me to do it with one and not the other. And for that reason, this is the sole reason why I would say do not drag and drop media into a powerbin. Do it the old-fashioned way and render out whatever it is that you are wanting to create as its own piece of media. Now you can see here, this is the animation that I showed you before that is in my powerbin up here as a single piece of media. So you can see the benefit of having it in a powerbin. One, it plays super quick, it plays in real time, it scrubs real easy. That is a 4K piece of media up here. This is 6K media here that is then downsampled to 4K there. And there's a whole bunch of sound effects that have been mixed. All that mixing goes across. Now, if I was to grab all of these assets here and drag them and drop them into my animation power bin over here, all of these are going to have to be re-edited, re-sound mixed, and regraded because they haven't been exported. They've just been moved across into the power bin. So that means things like grades, animations, keyframing, all of that stuff is not going to be translated across. So that's what when you wouldn't use, or the type of media you wouldn't use would be media that has not been exported out of Resolve. That's my opinion. Other people might say differently, but personally what I would say is don't use media that you've edited in a timeline like this unless you have pre-composed it or exported it out. Now you might say, well, what if I just create a compound clip of that? Well, here's the problem with doing that. Here is a compound clip of exactly the same thing. I'm going to now move this over here into my animations. It's going to think about it and then go, bum, bum. You can't do that because it's a compound clip. So you can't compound clip stuff up and drop it into a power bin. You have to export it out. It is a good thing and it's also a bad thing. And I'll show you why it's a good thing and a bad thing now. You can see here that this is my other animation that I've got. It's my little sub button up here. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now I also have that saved up here in my callouts. So here it is. Now it's rendered out with an alpha that needs to be removed in a key because obviously once I remove all the footage that's underneath it, it's only black video. Now it does have all the audio with it, which are these clips here, which are pre-mixed. So the good thing about the one that I've got up here is it has the audio mix. This one down here doesn't. But I'm just going to copy this because I want to show you this, because this is when you wouldn't, sometimes when it's just easier not to use a power bin. So I'm going to go back over here to my power bins project, and you'll see over here I've got my sub bin call out. Okay, I've got it and it's not keyed, but you can see that the audio is mixed, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, if I go into my MIDI callouts up here, I've got the original one, but if I bring that down and I put it over the top, well, I've got to re-key that. So that's not good either. So I'm just going to undo that. But here's where not using the pre-rendered stuff in a power bin cannot be beneficial, because if I just paste the clip that I copied from the other project, look at that, it's pre-comped. And if I just move that over that one, then it's done. And I don't have to recomp it. So there is definitely pros and cons of using power bins. Some things work really well and other things don't. Now I use this in every project. I wish I could just bring this as a pre-composed, pre-comped asset that I just drop in and it just goes on and boom, it works. But you can't do that because that's just not the way Resolve works. Now if I grab this and I put that up here, it will allow me to put it up there. Now if I delete it here and I just bring that same clip back down, look at that. It hasn't copied across the actual green screen comp. But if I just paste that and I now put that over the top and delete that one, well, it's back because I just pasted the clip from the other timeline. So that's something that you're gonna have to weigh out for yourself, because you can just copy and paste assets from one timeline to another and that's just as quick. But then you have to start remembering where everything is. This way with power bins, you don't have to remember where anything is because it's already there. So we know now that in some cases, depending on what the media type is, whether it's a fusion clip, a compound clip, or a pre-edited clip, that you may not be able to import it into a power bin. So how do you subclip stuff and use it in a power bin? Well, that's an easy thing to answer. So I'm just going to go over to my media pool here, and you can see that this is my media pool here. This is not my power bin. This is my master bin from the project power bins. Probably shouldn't have called it that for prosperity's sake. But you can see up here, here is the intro video, and you can see I've already added an in and an out point by using I and then O to create an in and an out, to create a subclip. And if I now go down to my media in my actual power bin, I can grab that media and I can drop it in, and it will allow me to do it as a subclip. This is the only way that you can properly subclip video footage into your power bin. Again though, I would not recommend to do it this way because it is not coming over with the sound mix and it is not coming over with the grade. So it defeats the purpose of having it there as a readily accessible finished piece of media to use on a regular basis. For me, I think the best way to do this is to complete your edit, export out whatever media that you want to have and how you want to have it, then re-import those assets into your media pool in your Powerbin. And that's the best way to use it. So that wraps up what Powerbins are, guys, and how you can use them and how you can speed up your workflow exponentially. I reckon I'm saving about 25% of my time using them. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.